For the few that have actually read any terms and conditions, what sneaky things have you found? I was stoned and downloaded a mobile game some years ago and decided to read the terms and conditions. It was like 20 pages and mostly had to do with privacy and microtransaction stuff. In the back half a paragraph was the lyrics to Toss Africa. I want to know what app this was. I know at some point Comcast was not responsible if it killed you. Haven't looked at it in years though. Used to work for them, so you get to learn the terms pretty quickly. Comcast is not responsible if, during an interaction with one of our experienced customer service representatives, the customer's cranial region ruptures, or in any way, combusts due to any number of medical factors. Edit, guys. This is a joke. Gamma Station once made an immortal soul clause on April Fool's Day to prove that no one actually reads the terms and conditions. It read, by placing an order via this website on the first day of the 4th month of the year 2010 Anno Domini, you agree to grant us a non-transferable option to claim, for now and forevermore, your immortal soul. Apostrophe. The devil's in the details. Detective. Lucifer, not right now, I'm busy. I had a Victoria's Secret coupon that said Canadians are required to pass a math question or test in order to be eligible for the discount. I think I still have it at my desk. My job, in part, is writing terms and conditions, agreements, and disclosures for the bank I work at, so I actually do read a lot of T&Cs in homage to the amount of time my colleagues in the field put into writing 18 pages of shit no one but examiners read. The Canadian math requirement is the strangest I've ever seen. That's actually required of them by Canadian law, which does not allow any gaming or lotteries that are not officially sanctioned. It's just a technicality. So if you answer the question correctly, you haven't won a gamble. You've earned the reward. In the hiring contract for the last company I worked for, there was a line buried on page like 22 that said, if you email a certain email address on your first day saying you saw the line, you'd get a bonus day of PTO for the year. It wasn't actually me, it was the manager I was interning with. He told me about how it was important to read everything, even the terms and conditions, when you go to an iPhone's license page or something else. I don't remember. It says that they won't take any responsibility to any shock you received from the phone if it were 5mm away from you, unless you had something blocking it from your skin, like clothes or a pocket protector. At a gun range one time I saw that if I yelled out I love dogs, my time and anything I buy is half price, I immediately did so, startling my best friend. That was awesome. The contract to a job I had working in the desert warned about the frequency of alien attacks. I was disappointed to go a year and a half without any, though. Hey, how much is that scar H on the wall? I love dogs, fuck, apostrophe. DeviantArts 2S is basically a contract allowing them to print, reproduce, and profit from your art, if they so choose, without needing your permission or consent. Usually this takes the form of ads or contests, where they'll be used in public displays. If you post works that show a high level of technical skill, then you need to either sign it or use a big ol' watermark. Things like this are pretty common on most art or picture websites. Not saying it's right, just that similar things are common. In my opinion, if an image site is using uploaded content to create ads promoting their site and service, I don't see anything wrong with that. If they are taking someone's image and plastering it on mugs and shirts or other products to sell without compensating the creator, that's sleazy. If you make money on TikTok, the owners can rightfully take the money. Thank you, customer, for actually reading our terms and conditions. Send us an email with the following content and we will send you a free box of chocolates. They did indeed send chocolate. CTRL plus F reading on every terms and conditions now, or other keywords. On Amazon, anytime they want they can take away from me the books that I've bought on Kindle store. It's the same with Steam games. but I hope that everyone who uses Steam was already aware of this. Edit, since this is gaining traction. Here's a specific line: the content and services are licensed, not sold. Your license confers no title or ownership in the content and services. This line isn't in the agreement to bully people, because that would cost them their platform really quickly. It's in there in case they shut down or decide to ban you. But it's still in there. You don't own your Steam library. I'm a lawyer. Whenever undergrads tell me they want to go to law school, I tell them to read the entire iTunes terms and conditions, without skipping a single sentence. If they can't get through it, they don't have the discipline and attention to detail for law school. Fairly good test TBH. After reading through all the comments here, I see no one has mentioned how useful this tip can be if you're downloading some shady software. Scroll through the entire 2S and find any checkboxes, then uncheck them, usually for things like this. That's how various programs and malware will end up being downloaded without you understanding how, which is what will usually happen with people who are especially young or especially old. There will be something written in there, like you agree that you would like to install Mega Super Saver Search Plus to your PC and set it as your default search engine with a pre-checked box next to it, leading to a lot of easily avoided problems. So yeah, scroll through and uncheck boxes when you're downloading something weird. You don't even need to read the terms. Just be aware what could be tucked away inside them. Back in the day when people legally acquired new music by buying CDs, one of the bands I listened to would hide nice little messages to fans in the copyright/legal fine print in the booklet that came with the CD. Sometimes there would be a small link to a hidden part of their website that had extra content. A while ago, 2011, there was a scam work from home service widely advertised all over Facebook and other places, promising enormous paychecks and a free trial. It was an opt-out subscription service as you might expect. Curious as to how the scam worked, I looked at their T&Cs. There was a clause in there requiring you to paying compensation to the company if you filed a chargeback against their fees, whilst that would never stand up in court. Dealing with debt collectors who might conveniently offer to settle for a mere $3,000 would be all sorts of hell. As someone who had to get a privacy policy and read the thing, as far as I know I'm not allowed to use my own service, according to the legal agreement I got with myself and agreed to. In case I do know that I access the service against what's written in the privacy policy, I should contact myself by email letting me know that, so I can erase any private data I got on myself. If I refuse to erase the data, I think I can sue myself. Send help. Sony can sue you for literally not updating your console software if you're connected to internet. There was a story contest from a theme park where your story could be published, but any story submitted would automatically be owned by the company and could not be used by you or others, so they could 1. Throw your story in the trash, and you still wouldn't legally own it anymore, and can't publish it somewhere else too. They own your story, so they can make money out of it without paying you a dime. 3. They were not obligated to credit you as the writer other than mentioning it somewhere in the first publishing. After that it was fair game. 4. They were allowed to alter your story as they saw fit without consulting you. I wasn't the only one who noticed. It was soon pointed out on social media. There wasn't really a backlash, but I didn't submit a story. Amazon's or service terms contain a clause pertaining to a zombie apocalypse. No, really, however, this restriction will not apply in the event of the occurrence, certified by the United States Centers for Disease Control or successor body, of a widespread viral infection transmitted via bites or contact with bodily fluids that causes human corpses to reanimate and seek to consume living human flesh, blood, brain or nerve tissue, and is likely to result in the fall of organized civilization. IDK if this is super surprising, but I read the entire lease for my first apartment and apparently I couldn't get out of my lease even if I died. Wanted to sign my kid up for cheerleading. Sat there and read the terms and agreement. Said something along the lines of, we are not responsible for any accidents that occur in the transportation of your child. My husband lost his brother in a school transportation accident and they initially tried to avoid the blame. So naturally that line gave us the heebie-jeebies, and we just left. Turns out they were just a shady company all around. She now does cheer through her school. If you want to take Huawei to court, you have to take them to court in China. What they don't tell you is that it's near impossible for a foreigner to win a court case in China. Pretty sure anyone who ever played the original Diablo also agreed, sold their soul to the devil in the terms and conditions. WhatsApp, when it went full Facebook 4 years after purchase, send out an Android update. The update said it was just adding the ability to give group chats as subheading. What it was actually doing was giving Facebook permission to take information. This option was enabled by default. Of course it was, and you had only 3 months to notice this had happened before the option to opt out was disabled. I was late noticing this, but when I read the terms and conditions, the last line said something along the lines of, even if you opt out, Facebook and the Facebook family of companies will still take the data for training purposes. I haven't deleted my account. They probably had my info by that point, but fuck that shit. Installed Signal. Something that I wish I read was on Fabletics online store. Apparently if you make any purchase they automatically sign you up to their VIP program, which is a per month subscription for VIP clothes. I made one purchase on their site, checked out like any other online store, and got my clothes a week later. 8 months go by, and I notice a taken out of my bank from Fabletics. I check my bank pretty often, so I DK how I missed this, and it turned out to be a recurring payment for 8 months. I called their support line and explained to the guy that I never signed up for their subscription and I never even received any sign up confirmation emails or payment statements to know what was happening. He said I most likely signed up when I purchased my clothes 8 months ago because it's in their terms. It's like once you sign up they ghost you and take your money every month. It took a lot of frustration and refusal to hang up the phone until they finally said I can get a refund of my Plus that was just sitting in my VIP account. I was like, clearly I was unaware of this because from the past 8 months I haven't made any more purchases on your stupid site. Give me my money back. They finally refunded it all back. Fucking scammers. Don't buy shit from Fabletics. I still should leave an online review about it because after looking up Fabletics scam it seems to happen to a lot of people. A job schedule app my company uses requires you to log in using the company email. To set this up on your phone, you have to give your company the rights to erase the contents of your phone remotely, probably in case you become a threat to the company. No thanks. I remember a story years ago about this guy applying for a loan or credit card from his bank, but asked to take the documents home and read over them and send them back a signed copy. He added clauses in the T&Cs that the bank had to pay him, and if they wanted out of the contract they had to pay him some huge exit fee. Signed the amended one and send it back to them, and they agreed to it without reading it. Not sure how true it is though. I don't know if they changed it, but when you chose the fragile option in a mail system like FedEx, that didn't mean they would take special care of it, but that you admitted that it was fragile and therefore it could be broken without being their fault, leaving you unable to sue them for breaking your package or to ask any reimbursement.